Okay, this is take two for Kanaya's very first Lamaze class. So we were pretty much talking about the things that you want to exclude during labor, and one of the things that you want to definitely exclude during labor is annoying people.
Gotta go.
People who just do not know how to be a help in a positive light. Labor is such a beautiful experience that it has to be full of nothing but positive energy.
Positive.
Happiness,
Happiness.
joy,
Joy.
but not overly joy. Like, not all that smiling in somebody's face. Like, oh, that's just a bit too much. So, we want to just make sure that we do a birthing plan on who we have in the room, who you have around you, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And
I hope this is not like a long process or whatever, because I would not, I feel like the thing that's going to get to me the most is annoyingness.
And that's why we want to just
not
exclude annoyingness.
It's going to be annoying.
Because the annoyingness, it intensifies the pain.
And you know how you get, like, you get a headache and then you start getting annoyed because you have a headache or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like,
yeah, it's a lot different. You know, the only thing that has ever annoyed me during labor was two things. One, people were so pressed to be in one of my labors that my kids were downstairs in the lobby and they were waiting to go home, and some of my friends were all down there, and so my friends kept trying to get up to the room. So, and this is funny because this was when I was in labor with you. And so they kept taking turns, but they were so pressed that they eventually just came upstairs with the kids, with Kyrie and Kayla.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as Kayla saw me, she just immediately started screaming because she wanted me to pick her up. But I was literally having contractions 5 minutes apart. Mm-hmm. So everybody being pressed to be around me and in the room and see what's going on was annoying because y'all have this screaming child. God, I wish, the one thing that breaks my heart is me not having my videos from back in the day. But the one thing, how Cameron, say hi to the video. We're making a Lamaze class and you're walking past. Get up on the bed, or you want to stay or you want to go?
I was going to tell you.
Oh, which one? Tell me, boo boo.
Let me tell about later.
Oh, all right. Come tell me as soon as you finish, okay? So, that drove me crazy. Like, everybody wants to definitely be a part of the birthing process if you are allowed to be in the room and in that setting. But just having common sense and knowing, like, when it might be just a bit too much, and knowing, like, okay, well, maybe I should give her some space. Maybe I should, like, calm it down. That's what's important. And for me, like, that wasn't taken into consideration. It took for my dad to say, like, get out. It was, like, so bad because my dad was on one side, my mom was on one side, all my friends were coming in, the babies were crying. That was a bit much.
I'm gonna straight be like, you're annoying me, get out, I don't care, shut up.
She's like a mini me, so I don't got her saying that because we like have a super heart where we will allow ourselves to be uncomfortable before we make somebody else uncomfortable. That's a gene that I wish I didn't pass down, but a genetic, but my mom passed it to me. So, well, no, she did, and then it grew off her. Anyway, So getting into labor, so once we put together a birthing plan, I think that's important for any mom to put together a birthing plan on who you want to have in the room, all of that, and make sure those people know so that when it comes time for you to be in labor, everybody is not bombarding you and putting pressure on you to make you feel some type of way. Like, if they already know, like, Adam, Jane, and Joe are in the room, then everybody else should just already be in their feelings. They should already know, like, listen, your feelings was hurt last week. I told you this was my birthing plan. This was who was going to be in the room. Because if you don't do that and you wait till the last minute, you're going to be dealing with so many emotions and frustrated and overwhelmed by just people wanting to be there. And people really do just be wanting to be there to be helpful or to be there because they want to be a part of this amazing part of your journey into motherhood. But puppy's about to go down. Grab Louie. And so just making sure we have that in place, and being as though you have your mom here, I'm going to make sure that what she doesn't say, I say. So if she is looking like she's uncomfortable or annoyed or frustrated, you have a serious backup system here. So, you know, beware. But for other people, like if you don't have that, like you just need to make sure you put your foot down before labor starts. Because once labor starts,
yeah, ain't you supposed to be?
Life is going to be completely different.
Just
Sisterly love is going on. Okay, so we're going to jump right into when labor begins and we get in the hospital, because Kinaya is already understanding that we are not going into the hospital until I know and I feel labor is truly close.
Yeah, we're going to be timing this. I need the contractions to be like 5 minutes apart before
No, they need to be closer than that, like bam, bam, bam. Because even 5 minutes apart, you can have contractions 5 minutes apart for 3 hours or more, for more than that. I know. Scary, but it's the truth. But I probably sprung that on a little bit too soon. But I mean, not even just that, but you need to like really feel uncomfortable. A lot of moms rush to the hospital immediately because they're just like, oh, I'm having contractions. No. You need to make sure those contractions are truly consistently 5 minutes apart or shorter. Like if they are 5 minutes and then 7 minutes and then 8 minutes and then 10 minutes, then you are having irregular contractions. But if they are consistently back to back, 3 to 5 minutes apart, we got some action going on. And even though that action is going on, that still doesn't mean, so don't take my video and don't take my words and be like, Ms. Akira, I went to the hospital and my contractions was 5 to 3 minutes apart and I was still in labor for 7 hours. I didn't say that wasn't going to happen. What I'm saying is that just shows that you are dilating. There is a process. Everybody, definitely my snooker, everybody needs to understand that labor is a process. You have to go from 0 centimeters, so from being that open in your vagina. Sorry. But you have to go from there to 10 centimeters. In order for you to get to 10 centimeters, your contractions are what is opening up your vagina. It's what's contracting your uterus to open everything up so that the baby can flow through the hole safely. You feel me? So, that takes a process.
This is 10 centimeters. Right here.
That's not even... So, you know...
And Jameer's head probably like...
Yes. So even once you get to 10 centimeters, like the baby's head is still going to push you open a lot more. So, yeah, it's a process. But it's a process. So a lot of moms, and down goes Louie in a minute. But a lot of moms, you know, you get in labor and you get frustrated because labor is taking a long time, because you feel like it's not progressing fast enough. But it is a process. Your body is preparing to push out a whole human being. And so the contractions are what is like having everything to push down, your dilation and all of that. So listen, because this should make a lot of sense to you guys, and I didn't understand this when I first had a kid, but the process of contractions is to get you to be 10 centimeters, to get your bag to break, your water to break, and everything to get to flowing. So why in the world, or how in the world could you possibly have contractions at 5 minutes apart for like an hour or two and then be ready? Or 2 hours and then be ready? I mean, this just, and it's not possible. So going into labor with the mindset of patience, being patient, understanding that this is a process and that it's going to take time. It's not going to happen in the blink of an eye. I mean, very rarely, very, very, very rarely you hear a mom say, my water broke, I just started having contractions, and the baby was here in 3 hours. Well, first of all, her water broke. Most of the time, if you hear labor went that fast, it's because the person's water broke very early on in labor. So if your water hasn't broken and you're just having contractions, understand that you need to already put in your mind, this is about to be a process. It is going to take time, and this is not going to just all happen at one time. It's not going to just be a couple of hours and bam, baby is going to be here. No, it's going to take some time. So let me go ahead and mentally get myself right. I always tell people, like, your mind is what controls everything else. Your mind tells your hand to move, your fingers to move, it tells your lips to move, it tells you what to say. Everything that happens because your mind. So if you mentally can get yourself prepared for labor and get yourself right during labor, then you'll have a much better labor because you can mentally get yourself to where you need to be. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to mentally get you to where you need to be to have this labor be a good experience and to be beautiful. We are also having a natural childbirth, right?
Yes.
Natural childbirth. Do a check for me real quick, please. Make sure we're still good. So we're doing a natural childbirth, which means that we are opting out on the epidural. If anything, worst case scenario, Demerol is always a good thing to do during labor. If your labor is long and you're getting extremely exhausted, Demerol will help you sleep a little bit. I mean, the sleep is kind of like annoying because it's like you go to sleep and 5 minutes later you're up like it's a contraction, but then you're asleep, but then you're up, then you're asleep. So it's a little crazy, but I promise you that 5 minutes, that little minutes of sleep, like it's like a lot because you're before you get, if you don't have Demerol, then you're just up. So I'm not saying immediately get Demerol. I'm saying Demerol is like one of those things that you just can go to if you are getting extremely exhausted and getting extremely frustrated. Then it helps to just calm you down. But understanding that Demerol is also a drug, and the same way it makes you high, it definitely makes your baby a little high as well. So it's just important to know those things. And the reason we are opting out on epidural is because I want all my grandbabies to be born healthy and strong and to be born alive. And I know everybody wants that. So somebody might be saying like, okay, who doesn't want a live baby? But the side effects of an epidural, which I've explained to Kinaya, I'm explaining to you guys, and I'm going to explain to Kinaya again. The epidural pretty much goes in your bag and it numbs everything down from up here all the way down. So epidural is like the way to go for 99% of moms, simply because it's like, oh, if I don't have to feel any pain, then I don't want to feel any pain. However, there are side effects from epidural that can last a lifetime, and I know a lot of women who are still suffering after their children have turned 20 and 30 years old from having an epidural. So it comes with a lot of complications. But the biggest complication that I've seen with the epidural in the past couple of years that really frightens me and just terrifies me is that when a woman is in labor and it's time to push and the baby is coming, the labor is stalled and the baby gets stalled with coming down through the birth canal because the woman cannot feel anything. She can't feel where to push. She can't feel the natural gravity of the baby coming down, the pressure. She can't feel the contraction. She can't feel any of that. So the only thing that's helping this baby to get down that birthing canal is your body still naturally contracting, because even though you have an epidural, your body is still naturally contracting. So that's helping the baby to get down through the birth canal. But we all know that the best way to get that baby out fast enough